Hi, I am Kaylee Goldman, and this is my mother, Elizabeth Goldman.
One thing that she and I are both really passionate about is making sure that people with disabilities have equal access to all facets of community life. One thing in particular that's really close to our heart is community and public events.
Now, you might be wondering, how is this conversation relevant to my life?
I won't be offended that you're thinking about that. Disability excites nobody. Believe me, I'm very used to every time I go around and working with different organizations and people, let's talk about disability accommodations, ramps, yes! No one is excited about that, and it does not hurt my feelings. But that's why it's important that there's people like Kaylee and I that actually do get excited about that type of stuff so that we can make sure that the right supports are in place for people.
Here's the solution that we propose.
Well, before we get to the solution, also, one thing that you also need to remember is that people with disabilities comprise the largest minority group in the entire world. It is estimated that approximately 20% of all people live with a disability. So if you think that this does not apply to you now, it will. Every single person in your lifetime will experience disability, whether you are born with it, maybe you will acquire it through accident or illness, or even maybe just as part of the natural progression of aging. It is something that affects all of us, and you will inherently feel the consequences of that, and honestly, the exclusion that comes with that when you go out into different aspects of the community. So as Kaylee was saying, one thing that we have kind of come up together as a solution with this, she and I actually work with a lot of different community organizers, again, on how to help them in the planning process to incorporate accessibility planning from the beginning of their events so that we can make sure that it is accessible to people, literally everyone. And it's really unfortunate because when we go to these different events, especially when they're outdoor venues, it is really hard sometimes to do that. You know, when you are in buildings, you have building codes, you have structural codes that kind of take care of a lot of that guesswork for you. You don't have that when you're in an outdoor event. And if anything, you actually create barriers that did not already exist to begin with. So if you're putting up fencing, porta potties, you're blocking off sidewalks, you have different types of music venues that can be really, really overwhelming and overstimulating to people. It's a lot to take on and to plan for, and especially if you're not from that area. And so what she and I have proposed together after working on this scene for several years is to come up with a mobile access station. So think of like a food vendor truck at a festival, but this is specifically for accessibility. It would actually address a lot of the needs that aren't even available even now at the best accessible festivals that we've ever seen because it is in an actual structure. And so some of the things that it can address are an adult changing station for individuals, if they need a cooling station, even for their service animals, a relief area, lots of different aspects. But don't just take our word for it.
Having something like this would be an invaluable resource in our communities.
This is where we got cut off, but we had cool quotes. Thank you.
Good job.